Imagine you are standing on the edge of a gravel road. Or maybe it's a patch of sun-baked asphalt in the middle of July. Perhaps it's a forest floor littered with jagged pine cones and hidden thorns. Now take your shoes off, take your socks off, try to walk. For most of us, this is an exercise in pain. We tiptoe, we wince, and we desperately look for the nearest patch of soft grass. Your feet, in their current state, would likely not survive one single day in the wilderness. Yet, for nearly the entire timeline of human evolution, our ancestors didn't just survive, they thrived. They crossed blistering deserts, navigated frozen mountain passes, and tracked prey through dense, thorny scrubland. When we picture prehistoric life, we often imagine a line of shivering primitive people wandering the earth with nothing on their soles. But is that actually true? Why do we assume ancient humans never wore shoes? Was it a lack of intelligence, or was there a much deeper, more biological reason for their bare feet? Today, we are uncovering the truth about why shoes were once the exception, not the rule, and how your own feet have changed because of it. The answer isn't that they were too primitive to make footwear, it's that their feet, their lifestyle, and the very world they inhabited were fundamentally different from ours. Before we dive into the history, we have to fix a common misconception. The idea that ancient humans never wore shoes is a myth. The reality is far more nuanced. It's not that they couldn't make shoes, it's that shoes were a specialized tool used only when absolutely necessary. The reason we don't see many shoes in the archaeological record isn't necessarily because they didn't exist, but because of a massive scientific hurdle: preservation. Think about what a prehistoric shoe would be made of: animal hide, tree bark, woven grass, or perhaps soft fur. These are organic materials. They rot. They decompose. Unless a shoe was left in a perfectly dry cave, a deep peat bog, or a frozen glacier, it disappeared into the earth thousands of years ago. The famous Arini 1 shoe, a stunningly intact leather find, survived only because it was sealed under a layer of sheep dung in a cool, dry cave in Armenia. But the lack of physical shoes doesn't mean humans were always barefoot. The strangest evidence for when we actually started protecting our feet doesn't come from a piece of leather at all. It's hidden deep inside our own anatomy. It turns out the mystery of early shoes can be solved by looking at human toes. To understand why our ancestors didn't rush to invent the sneaker, we have to understand that the ancient human foot was already a masterpiece of survival equipment. It wasn't the soft, sensitive appendage you have today. Before the widespread use of shoes, human feet were powerful, resilient tools. A lifetime of walking barefoot on natural terrain meant our ancestors developed incredibly thick, leathery calluses on their soles. These weren't just dead skin. They were a living shield that protected against heat and sharp objects while still allowing the foot to feel the ground. Beyond the skin, the very structure of the foot was different. Ancient feet had wider toe splay, stronger arches, and more robust muscles. This gave them superior balance and a natural suspension system. In the context of human evolution, the foot was designed to be a sensory organ as much as a mode of transport. Most of us today don't have ancient feet anymore. We have shoe-shaped feet. Our toes are often cramped together. Our arches are weak from lack of use, and our soles are so soft that a single pebble feels like a mountain. For an ancient hunter, a shoe might have actually felt like a sensory deprivation chamber, cutting them off from the vital information the ground provided. Even if your feet are resilient, shoemaking is expensive. Ancient humans used shoes for survival, and they were expensive. Even a pair of hide coverings was resource-intensive. A good animal hide indicates a successful hunt. Tools were needed to scrape and cure the hide so it wouldn't rot on your skin. You needed plant fiber or sinew cordage or lacing, which required hours of laborious labor. After making the sneaker, it was temporary. A leather wrap or grass sandal could wear out in days or weeks on tough terrain. The cost of keeping footwear typically surpassed the benefits for mobile foragers. Why spend hours repairing leather when your natural soles performed fine for free in soft ground and mild weather? The Arini 1 shoe, which is around 5,500 years old, was a one-piece cowhide lace-up, and while it looks basic, it indicates a high level of craftsmanship. Not everyone in the tribe needed it daily, but it was likely utilized for protection during specialized tasks or in various terrains. All changed as the weather changed. Barefoot living lost favor as humans moved from Africa to Europe and Northern Asia. Go barefoot in tropical climates to stay cool and avoid fungal infections. However, bare feet are fatal in the subarctic tundra. Frostbite may kill toes in minutes, and crippled hunters die. This marked the first important change in ancient footwear. Shoes weren't made because humans became smarter or realized pebbles were sharp. They were necessary for species growth. We needed a portable foot habitat when we entered snow, ice, and frozen ground. The fascinating survival question is, did we invent shoes to move into cold climates, or did cold climates compel us to invent shoes? Archaeological evidence suggests both, although environmental pressure was the main cause of footwear's persistent presence in humans. How can we show this if the shoes are rotted? The investigative work of bioarchaeology comes in. Research shows that supportive footwear permanently alters the human skeleton. Barefoot walking requires your toes, especially your smaller ones, to grip the ground and balance. The toe bones, phalanges, are thick and strong. Once you wear shoes, they do the work for you. Over generations, your toes narrow and grow more delicate as they grip and flex less. Scientists found a change in ancient human skeletons. An examination of the 40,000-year-old Chinese Tenyuan 1 skeleton indicated that the individual had powerful legs but thin toe bones. This is typical of habitual footwear use. Imagine demonstrating someone wore shoes 40,000 years ago without finding a leather scrap. Written in their bones. This shows that many populations were wearing shoes by the Upper Paleolithic. The oldest shoes we've identified show a range of engineering. The Arini 1 leather shoe is the most famous, but not the only. Archaeologists found Fort Rock sandals in Oregon's high desert. These braided sagebrush bark items are about 10,000 years old. They are elegant and wrap around to protect the toes and heel. This means shoes were not invented by one individual in one place. Instead, people around the world innovated with what they had. Armenia used cowhide. Oregon had sagebrush. The Alps, where Otzi, the Iceman, was discovered, used a mixture of bearskin soles, deerhide uppers, and a netting stuffed with dried grass for insulation. These were no ordinary primitive wraps. They were highly specialized for certain situations. Despite these inventions, barefoot living survived. Some things were better with bare feet for a long time. Thick leather soles may crush dry leaves or slip on wet rocks if a hunter was sneaking up on a deer. Pure feet are quiet. They improve grip on steep inclines and provide sensory feedback to assist trackers determine a footprint's age by soil temperature or moisture. Long ago, humans could choose between shoes and bare feet. Shoes were for long mountain treks, barefoot for hunting and camping. Only when our lifestyle altered did this balance shift. The ecology altered as humans moved from small, transient hunter groups to permanent agricultural communities. Walking on soft woodland soil or sandy riverbanks ended. We crossed hamlet trails, animal waste, and early city stone-paved streets. In these environments, foot sensory feedback was a liability, not wanting to experience what was on the ground in a crowded settlement. Shoes were needed for hygiene, protection from man-made surfaces, and status. When humans created civilization, shoes signaled. They revealed your identity, occupation, and fortune. The move from survival gear to fashion killed the barefoot human. Here comes the modern twist. Shoes have shielded us and helped us colonize the world, but they have also transformed us. The old foot's strength and toughness have been sacrificed for the modern sole's comfort and protection. This is why our ancestors could run across continents while most of us can barely walk on a gravel driveway. We eliminated foot injuries but created a world of weak arches and misplaced toes. Ancient humans were choosy about shoes, not clueless. They utilized shoes when cost-benefit analysis made sense. They were well adapted, not savage. They didn't never wear shoes. They just didn't need them to fit in. Shoes were quiet technology that let us go where our bare feet couldn't. Next time you lace up your trainers, check your feet. They live in leather and rubber after millions of years of barefoot mastery. Though we wear shoes, our bones still feel the dirt.